on the Trading Card Preservation Society.
Everyone knows that baseball cards and bubblegum go together.
Oh,
How
okay.
many were sold with meat products?
3.
3. Trice 8.
Like steak or what?
Yeah, well,
Hot
everyone
dogs?
knows hot dogs.
I call this meeting of the Trading Card Preservation Society to order. In attendance tonight we have myself, Matt F. from heartbreakingcards.com, and Dave the Cardboard Junkie from cardjunk.blogspot.com.
That jerk owes me cards. Oh, wait, that's me.
We'll see if that's
hello.
what was that from, Dave?
That is stolen directly from Groucho Marx.
There's
You
not
bet your life.
not a bad person to steal from. Tonight on the podcast,
You're gonna steal from someone who's dead.
Yes. Tonight, we have a lot of topics to discuss. We will revisit our first ever topic of our podcast, which was Kris Bryant cards. We've got more details on the Mars Attacks Kickstarter. We attempt to use Topps Bunt with varying levels of success. We'll review 2015 Donruss Baseball. Dave's going to start his Every 10 Years series, beginning in 1955. In pop culture, we're going to talk about the return of the X-Files, the return of Mad Max, and a brand new feature in which we're titling Music to Sort Cards By. And as always, our standard quick hits, the new release calendar, and listener Q&A. So it's only been a few weeks since our last episode. So have you been able to get into some trouble since we last recorded?
I've gotten into a little of trouble. Haven't had much luck with card shops or card shows or anything, but I've been hitting Goodwill pretty hard, and have managed to pick up a few goodies from there. At the Goodwill near me, there was a box of Donruss puzzle pieces that was way overpriced, but I stalked it out for about a month and was able to get it half price. Did not get a full puzzle set from any of the cards in the box, but did knock out a good chunk of the Babe Ruth and Yogi Berra sets, which is what I was looking for. The real score that I got, there's a real hoity-toity Goodwill up by my work. That's got all the really Richie Rich stuff in it,
Yeah.
and found 2 sheets of 1996 cards, Topps cards, Series 1 uncut sheets, just rolled up like wallpaper or something. 2 sheets for $7. So,
Wow.
and they're pretty good sheets too. They got Smoltz, Chipper, Frank Thomas, Mark Lemke. Haven't completely cataloged them yet, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but you know, I never actually got my hands on an uncut sheet of Topps cards, and there were 2 sheets just sitting at Goodwill.
I've got an uncut sheet of TriStar, one of those TriStar prospect things.
Oh yeah.
When I first got it back into collecting, I actually bought cards from a TV program.
Nice.
And it was basically, I think it was like 4 blasters of the TriStar prospecting things, and as a throw-in, they gave you an uncut sheet.
Sweet.
It's sat in the box ever since because it's sort of too big to do anything with, as you know. So
Nice. Is that the Hayward TriStar set, or a
it
different one?
is actually the Hayward, and so I was just thinking that maybe
Oh.
I can continue my career of giving you Hayward cards. If you,
I'll trade you something for anything Hayward. I'll trade anything for Hayward.
yeah.
But The last big score at Goodwill was a VHS tape of Elvira announcing the movie Night of the Ghouls by Ed Wood, which is brilliant. I mean, Ed Wood and Elvira on the same videotape. Utterly classic. And speaking of monster movies, I watched a bunch of those the past few weeks. Every month, a bunch of movies expire on Netflix, so I try to catch a few before they go. Saw Shadow of the Vampire, which was very nice. Get to watch John Malkovich and William Dafoe chew up scenery for 90 minutes. That was fun. Saw another Hammer Frankenstein film. I think it was the last one. The one where David Prowse, aka Darth Vader, was the monster. And also saw a really interesting film. I'd never seen it before, and it really impressed me. It's called Legend of Hell House. It's an old ghost story from I think it came out in 1973. Stars Roddy McDowall as psychic who, and this is one of those ghost stories. It's been done many times under different names. The Haunting, House on Haunted Hill, all those stories where a group of people are forced to go into a haunted house for a week or whatever. If they spend the night, they'll get $1,000 or whatever for some old rich guy. This is the same kind of movie. Roddy McDowall is a psychic who tried to stay at the house for a week like 20 years earlier, and everyone he was with was killed horribly except for him. And then an old guy pays him, a scientist dude, and another psychic to spend a week in the house to prove life after death or some nonsense. And all kinds of creepy stuff happens. There's an amazing scene with a cat that has to be seen to believe. And if you like the movie The Shining, there's a lot of like similarities to The Shining, just in the way it's shot. There's a lot of funky angles and square on shots that build a lot of tension. There's a lot of creepy ambiance. The colors are very bright and surreal. And there's a motif where it shows the date and the time every once in a while in a similar fashion to The Shining. So it's not as good as The Shining, obviously, but it's really creepy. It's got a wonderful score by Delia Derbyshire, who's better known for the Doctor Who theme, and very good actors. And it turns out the villain is actually played very briefly by Michael Gough, aka Alfred from the Tim Burton Batman films. So lots of fun there. Oh, and Scientist Man is actually voice of the Emperor from Empire Strikes Back. So everybody who's in this film has an IMDb page like a mile long. So, and Roddy McDowall is always fun. So very good movie.
I'm trying to find the title of a film. A title of a film that I think it was a riff tracks, and it's like Haunted House, but it's I can't. I'm just trying to find it here fast while we're searching for it. It's a standalone like horrible movie without the commentary.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
so it's like it's good enough. I mean, it's bad enough on its own merits. It has this scene with a clown sort of face, and the music that they play just like sort of is on repeat the whole time. Well, I'll search for it while we're looking here. But the Elvira video, is it just like she introduces it, or are there cutaway segments?
I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Oh, okay.
So I've actually got it right in front of me. As soon as I get, well, on the back it says the movie's 69 minutes, which is nice. As soon as I get 69 minutes, I'm gonna watch that, and heck, I can review it on the next, next podcast if you want. But I saw that, and that was half off too, so I got it for 50 cents, and that's the best 50 cents I'll spend all year, most likely.
Okay, the title of the movie is not Haunted House, but Ghost House.
Ghost House.
And Ghost House. And the synopsis is, yes, Ghost House is a film about a dead girl who has an evil clown doll that commands her to kill. That's all well and good, but it's the little things about Ghost House that really make you stand up and say, wait, what? So, there's this recurring theme, music, that is just haunting. And maybe I'll add it in here right now on the podcast when I edit it all together. It's just... It's so horrible. It's sort of like how you're describing Roddy McDowell's movie. Like, everyone knows they're going to get killed in the ghost house, but they just can't seem to stop going to the ghost house.
I just Googled this, and it says Ghost House 2004 movie, South Korean horror comedy. Is that the same one?
This
That's
is
a
an
different one.
80s.
Oh,
This
dear.
is an 80s. It doesn't. Here's the. Here's the riff tracks link. It's an 80s film. It might not be called Ghost House in reality. That's what they call it on riff tracks.
Nice.
But sometimes the titles are so, so.
Well,
Yeah, I
now
don't
I
know.
have to find this out.
Yeah, here we go. Ghost House, 1988. Oh, you know what? It's not an American movie. It's dubbed. It's Italian and
Italian.
dubbed.
Oh, yes.
Even better. So,
Italians make the best stupid
yeah.
ghost movies. So, getting way off topic, but Suspiria, if you've never seen that before, watch it.
And
oh
so,
my God.
You mentioned Shadow of the Vampire, and I just happened to... I'd been meaning to try to track down a copy of that. Did you find a copy somewhere, or did you...
I do this stupid thing where I wait until the night before it expires on Netflix.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And then watch it on Netflix because I have to. And then I see an awesome, amazing movie, and I'm like, oh gosh, everybody needs to see this, and you can watch it on Netflix. Oh wait, no, you can't. So,
I only mention it because I sort of realized, or I found out that Shadow of Vampire is out of print, and so it's sort of a weird
really?
movie to not be in print. Right? Yeah. Like on Amazon, a new copy is like $34.
Wow.
Yeah. So I happened to find a used one. It was sort of like a little steal. So, related to horror movies, I just finally. I know you listen to the. I think you listen to the Gilbert Gottfried Amazing Colossal podcast.
Yes. Love that.
Whenever I think I do a bad job sort of introducing things, I just listen to Gilbert's podcast, and he's very, has his own style. So
Oh yes.
I finally listened to the one with Bela Lugosi Jr. and Sarah Karloff. Have you listened to that one?
That was actually the first one I listened to.
Oh, yes.
Because I follow him on Twitter, and he's like, "Oh, I've got a podcast." I'm like, "Ooh, I have to listen to that," and I just kind of let it go for several weeks because it's like, "Oh well, I'll listen to it the next time he tweets it." And then I saw Bela Lugosi and Sarah Karloff. It's like, click.
Yeah.
So that was the first one I listened to, and then I listened to all of the others very rapidly in succession.
And I thought at first when I picked the obvious, like the bigger names that he's gotten.
Yes.
But I find the ones where I have no clue who these people are at first
Yep.
are much more entertaining.
Yeah, way more entertaining.
Yeah.
And especially some of his buddies like Drew Friedman. I'm not sure if you've listened to that one. That one is hysterical. And also extremely, R-rated, if not
Yes.
X-rated.
Yes.
But,
for myself, since we last recorded, I sort of took a little vacation, and my wife and I went down to Florida, the South Florida coast, and had the chance to go to a spring training game in Jupiter,
Nice.
Florida, which is the home of the Marlins and also the Cardinals. So they sort of go back and forth and have games there. And I got to see Cardinals Mets. Got to see your boy Jason Hayward.
Jason.
Was easily the best player on the field in terms of defense.
Yes.
He ran down everything, and it was fun to see some of the Mets, like Matt Harvey pitched, and David Wright was on this particular squad. And I all my teams that I sort of support are American League teams, so I never really get to see any National League players. So that was fun. It was my first ever rain delay too. It was like it came down, the sky opened up and came down, and unfortunately it was it's a college baseball park, so there's the overhang area is not that great. So it was sort of like 8,000 people getting to know each other very uncomfortably. I mentioned. I guess we can. I mentioned Jason Hayward, but I mean it's just like. And I know we're going to talk about baseball being back in a second, but what the hell is going on with your Atlanta Braves, Dave?
We'll discuss that shortly.
In a minute? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did see your post with all the Jason Hayward pictures, and I got a little overheated. I had to lie down for a while, but yeah, very fun. Any spring training or even minor league games, if you can get in there, you get right on top of the players. Those are always fun.
So, for errors, corrections, and omissions for our last episode, 2 items. First one is regarding Jason Hayward. We were talking about, him, and we were sort of at a loss to what's his connection to Atlanta exactly. He was actually born in Ridgewood, New Jersey, but he went to McDonough, Georgia High School. And McDonough is sort of a suburb city south of Atlanta. During our Topps Heritage discussion, Dave flippantly asked if Mike Trout had ever had a non-short print base card in Heritage. The answer is yes, he did. Excluding, Topps Heritage Minor League, he's had 2. He was card number 207 in the 2012 set, so his first Heritage card was not short printed. 2013, he was up to card number 430, so he was in the short prints there. In 2014, he was card number 250, so he escaped short prints in 2014, and then this year he's card last in one, number 500. So he is batting 50. He's batting 500 in terms of short prints. So
and for the biggest player in the league, that seems a little high.
Yeah, I agree. So last week, whenever this happens, I'm always like, oh, I wonder if Dave knows that the Atlanta Braves have ruined his season or not.
Ruined my day, yes.
Dave's Twitter handle for a while here was Melvin Junkie. Since BJ Upton changed his name, went back to his original name, which was Melvin. Is that right? Is that how it goes?
That's right. His given name is Melvin. His nickname is Bossman Jr. because his dad's nickname was Bossman.
Right.
Which was shortened to BJ. And then after last season, and after his brother got traded, he just said, "Forget it. I'm going to Melvin." And Melvin is now a Padre.
Yeah, along with Greg Kimbrell, and I was surprised. On the surface, it seemed like, wow, what are the Braves doing? But I've heard some sort of, positive sort of sides to this, that the Braves didn't get completely hosed. But, it's sort of like, it's full on. I mean, they're just like, we're going to be better when the new stadium is here. Is that how it goes now?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. When they traded Hayward, which you actually texted me that day, and the other day when Kimbrel was traded, a coworker actually called me at home to tell
Oh
me
no.
about
He's
it.
like, sit down. Are you
So
sitting down?
yeah. Um, but when Hayward was traded, my feelings on the matter is just burn the thing to the ground, start from
Yeah.
scratch, and I was very angry for a couple of months until they started trading the Uptons and the Gaddises and etc. And we're all wondering when the Kimbrel shoe was going to drop, and it finally dropped. And while I'm sad to see him go because he is one of the biggest draws on the team, and he might be, if he can stay healthy, he might be one of the best, if not the best, closer to play the game.
Yeah.
He didn't do too well tonight, from what I heard, but
Hmm.
it's been a rough week for him. But we're not going to win anything this year,
Yeah.
and we can get good prospects for him. So I was like, trade him. But what we ended up doing is we traded him, got rid of the BJ Upton boat anchor contract, and ended up getting back uh, the prospect that we wanted to get in the first place in the Justin Upton trade. So
Yeah.
uh, it was actually a fantastic deal for the Braves. Cameron Maben is going to produce this year as our center fielder. I mean, he's
Hmm.
not going to hit a lot, but he's got the defense, um, and he'll hit just enough. He'll hit better than BJ at least. This allows Eric Young Jr. to flip over to left field, where he's probably a better fit. Gets Johnny Gomes on the bench. So the whole thing improves the team, and we got a very good prospect, another prospect, and I think even a draft pick. So right now we're sitting on 6 draft picks in the top 100. So, and we started out with a sweep against the Marlins, so can't complain about the Braves right now.
Are
If we
they
would
going to
have,
keep Freddie Freeman?
yeah, I think they have to keep Freddie Freeman
Yeah.
because if they trade Freddie Freeman, Turner Field will burn, and they don't want it to burn until after 2016. So, I mean, Freddie's got a long contract, but a good contract, and he's basically the face of the franchise now because there's no one left. But
Yes,
they've
right.
got they've got a good core. I mean, Freddie Freeman, Julio Teheran, and Andrelton Simmons is. I mean, you can find teams with a worse core than that. And they're all
Hmm.
locked up for a few years. They've all got decent contracts. Um, we now have a pile of prospects that can beef up in the next couple of years, and they're playing for 2017, and everyone knows it. So anything I see this season is basically 1988. Let the kids play. Let the young pitchers learn how to pitch. Whatever the record ends up being, who cares? Because hopefully Julio, Tehran, Alex Wood, and whoever pops up from the group of prospects we have, Mike Fulton, Newich, or whatever his name is, or Max Fried, or the new guy we got. Uh, I don't even remember his name. We got too many prospects now. Manny Benuelos. Hopefully, Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz pops up out of all that mess. So,
Well, I mean, if you think the Braves are bad, my team, the Minnesota Twins, they have, they got shut out the first 2 games. Uh, they scored tonight, but they because of an error they don't have an RBI yet. Um,
nice.
so it's going to be a contest. We'll have a regular update on who's worse. Um,
Yes.
when I go home this summer, it's going to be great when I get to go to visit Target Field and get my ultra cheap tickets. So um,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah,
there's actually a parody Twitter account that you know how there's a lot of Twitter accounts. Did the Phillies win? Yes or no? Did
yes,
uh, so and so hit a home run? Yes or no? This was, did the Twins get past third base?
Yes.
And they started it at the beginning of the season, and they were starting to get desperate today. At one point, they tweeted out, "God, no, we still haven't got past third base. Do we have a curse of Ron Gant or something? What's going on?"
Yes.
So, and you poor
That's
guys,
funny.
we suckered you with Irvin Santana, and now
Yep,
we
and
got
then
pinched.
he's gone. Yep. We'll get him some, what, like in July or June, August? I don't remember.
I
80,
think it's
80 days, I think, or 60 days? 80
it's
days?
80 days,
Yeah,
so June-ish.
June-ish, yeah. Great.
So our teams are looking terrible,
Yes.
even though
Okay.
we're 3-0.
Yes. Yeah. If it's 1988, we can also, we should rip junk wax for what, 50 cents a pack? Is that what it was in 88? Okay, so our first news story, like I said, harkens back to our very first news story we covered, which was the Kris Bryant autograph fiasco. Well, his cards are back in the news, and basically the Superfractor from 2013 Bowman Chrome has appeared from in the wild, and it was graded by Beckett with an overall 9.5 Gen Mint and a 10 on the autograph. As a side note, have you ever seen a Superfractor that's like not above a 9? Like, it just always seems like it does. Like, are there Superfractors that are miscut? It just seems like logic would assume there would be, but anyway, so the owner of this card listed it on eBay for $89,999, which would make it, one of the most expensive cards, short of the tobacco era, Honus Wagner type thing, and it was purchased. We don't think it was purchased for the exact, that going price. It was purchased by a company called Prospect Rush, which, I did a little research, checked out their website, prospectrush.com. Almost completely, there's nothing there really, except a photo of the Kris Bryant Superfractor, and it looks like they're going to be including this as sort of like the key chase card in an upcoming repackage called 2015 Prospect Rush Draft. So, this is the most famous player, the most famous card of the most famous prospect, I guess prospect right now. How do you I mean, is it ridiculous for a prospect card to be that high a price?
Well, they
What
had
do
to
you
list
think?
it for $89,999 because 90,000 is just too much.
Did they offer free
Um,
shipping? I didn't notice. So
um, I don't know.
it
It's
just makes me feel like
prospecting.
you could get a Kris Bryant. I just don't understand. You could get a Kris Bryant autograph. You could probably pay Kris Bryant to write the most unique thing ever on a personalized autograph.
You could get Kris
That
Bryant to go out with
come
you
to your
on a
house.
date,
I know,
probably.
right? It's so ridiculous, and I can appreciate how it wasn't an individual buyer who bought this. It looks like it's a company that's trying to get their their name in the press, their name in our
Yeah,
pod.
it's
They wanted us to
sounds
talk
like
about
it's
it.
gonna be a thing like the TriStar Chase the Ruth
Yeah.
repacks, which have a bunch of 88 Donruss and 1990 Fleer in them, and one of the millions of repack boxes had a
Yes.
coupon for a Babe Ruth card in it. But it's prospecting, and when you have a prospect as hot as Kris Bryant is right now, it's
Yeah.
never going to be hotter than it is right now. This is the absolute peak of the value, and honestly, this is a company buying this to try to make money off of it is probably the best possible outcome for this card, because if an actual collector bought it, it's just going to plummet, and you hope that Kris Bryant never gets hurt in his career, but,
Mm-hmm.
it's never going to be this hot again. Look at Bryce Harper.
Yeah. Or
I
Steven
mean,
Strasburg, yeah.
yeah, Strasburg, or God forbid, somebody like Jabba Chamberlain. Uh, hot, super white hot prospects cards do not go up in value. They go down in value. So, good luck to Prospect Rush, and I hope they sell a lot of repack boxes of Bowman or whatever they're going to sell. But, I don't understand superfractors anyway. I've got the same design that's on all the superfractors on a pocket knife. So I've never seen what the big deal about it is. Except it's a 1 of 1. Oh, big deal.
Have you seen also there's Kris Bryant autographs where he includes his like Twitter handle and stuff?
No, I haven't seen that. That's actually kind of cool.
They claim they're more rare than the standard, but as we know also there seems to be more Kris Bryant autographs floating around than we thought there would be. So
yeah. And in 10 years, there's going to be a ton of Kris Bryant autographs, especially if he becomes an actual superstar.
Yeah. And as a reminder, he has not taken one pitch from a major league pitcher in a major league game. So, okay. So next, we talked about it last time. Mars Attacks Invasion is a Kickstarter that Topps is going to do this May 5th is the day that the Kickstarter sort of kicks off, and they're slowly dripping out each week more information about the set. And at first I thought this was like a Kickstarter in the sense of like you put up the funds, you fund the ideas, and we'll move forward on creating this product. But it seems to me like this product is complete. Everything's sketch cards are being made, cards are already designed. Everything's done. I really don't know how the Kickstarter, it doesn't help in creating it. It just sort of, I guess, helps in maybe securing the financial success of it. Some details that came out: there'll be thick card stock for the sketch cards, which from the sets if I remember correctly, the cards were just sort of the standard sort of thickness before, so that's fun. All the sketch cards will be full color. There are new artists, not featured in the previous Mars Attacks sets this time around. There'll be varying degrees of scarcity, not so much just before. I don't really know if the sketch cards were more or less scarce. It just seems like the really really great ones were of course worth more money. But it didn't seem like they were, I don't know, rare. But now you can sort of tell by the logos on the cards. So red logo will be a common sketch card, green logo uncommon, and then there'll be sketch cards done by the creators of the Mars Attacks Invasion series. There'll be a new thing called a dual artist sketch card, which is like two sketch cards combined, double-sized, and they'll be inserted as box toppers. They're very upfront that this card would not be bent like a booklet. So I guess that's exciting. Wasn't worried about that, but there'll also be other sketch cards like throwback sketches from the original series, and let's see, that was last week's news. This week's news is more about the base set. So this time we learned that there are 72 base cards with chase cards that are sort of like the inserts, and for each box you buy, you get a complete base set in the box. So I don't know, it just seems to me like the Kickstarter, it's not a Kickstarter in the traditional sense. It just seems like it's just trying to secure the financial success of this product.
Yeah, it's almost like, if we can sell this many boxes, we'll create the product, and if not, then we won't. So all
yeah, it's
I
sort of
want
weird
to
to
know,
think like it's a card set. it's a card set that's almost like living digitally. You know, I know that's our
Yeah.
next topic, sort of, but it's like it's there. It could be made.
It's
Yeah.
Schrodinger's set. Doesn't
Yes.
exist, but it does. All I want to know is how much is a box, and I have never found this
No,
out.
it's
And
not been revealed yet.
yeah, and I don't know if it's gonna be $50 for a box or $200 for a box, and either price is not outside the realm of possibility. So
Yeah, it
I
says
don't
we
know.
get we get a sketch card in each box, and if I
Yeah,
remember right, the first Mars Attacks Heritage was about 55, I think, is what I bought it at.
yeah,
So somewhere around there probably. Plus, who knows what kind of bonus they'll try to offer on Kickstarter.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested. I would kind of like to buy a box just for coolness sake, but I need to know a price. I've got kids who have Boy Scout trips and dance lessons and all that kind of stuff. But give me a price.
Is it the same kid who has Boy Scouts and dance lessons, or
Eh,
yeah, maybe. Okay,
it's an
so
option.
next up, yeah, right there you go. Tap. um, so okay, so Top's Bunt. We were low on topics, and I thought to myself, well, let's try this. So I tried downloading Top's Bunt. I had no success with it. It seems like you, however, are in on this now.
Yeah, I was actually gonna suggest a topic every podcast. Are we still doing bunt? But it looks like your answer is
I'm done.
has been decided. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is okay. I mean, I tried Topps Kick a while back and rage quit after they took
yeah,
the rookie packs away from me. I went into Topps Bunt basically with zero expectations, kind of like the Braves this year.
yeah.
Um, Basically, I'm not going to spend a dime. Uh, I'm going to
I
get
that's
whatever I can get for free,
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
I'm going to
wondering if you had dropped any real
see.
money on it yet.
Yeah, I'm going to see what I can do and just kind of play around with it. And I've actually had some fun with it so far. Um, I've gotten a bunch of coins for free, enough to pick up a few packs here and there. I've figured out from my fellow collectors how to scrounge up free points. Um, there's actually a free coin section where you can click on ads and watch videos and download
Hmm.
apps and do all kinds of sleazy, shady stuff to get free coins, which um, I've mostly been sticking to anything where I don't have to actively do anything. There are a lot of videos, video ads that you can watch, and they're mostly for um, RPG apps, oddly enough. I guess those are a big money maker, bigger than Bunt even, because I mean, there's just tons of RPG apps you can download. So I've watched a bunch of those advertisements, and I've actually gotten to the point where they've wormed their way into my brain, and I actually want to try them. So this is very dangerous. Um, of course, I've got something to do when I get sick of Bunt now. I can download some of these apps that they've been showing me videos for, and there's also some slideshows you can click on. Um, which are basic BuzzFeed type link bait type things. You just sit and click
Hmm.
through a slideshow, and it's rots your brain, but you get to learn about celebrities who were homeless at one point, or the hottest golf wives, stuff like that.
Nice.
Uh, so I've basically scrounged up enough coins to get a few extra packs here and there. Um, my biggest problem now is I don't think anybody knows what the hell is going on. I don't think the players know what the hell is going on. I don't think Topps Bunt knows what the hell is going on.
Right.
Every day it seems like there's random packs you can buy or not buy.
Yes.
There are certain packs that only people who buy coins can buy. But since it was opening weekend, they let the pros buy the rich boy packs for a little while, but they kind of popped up for a while and then went away uh, after a day. And if you're solely working on free coins, I mean, you get 10,000 coins a day. If you win a contest, you can win some more coins. I'll talk about contests in a second.
Hmm.
And you can watch ads and click on things that are probably stuff you shouldn't click on in order to get more coins. But a premium pack is like 20,000 coins, and you've either got to watch a lot of ads or you've got to buy stuff. You've got to buy coins in order to get this stuff. And I don't know. It's a gigantic rat race from what it looks like,
Yeah.
especially with all the inserts, because the inserts are not easy to get. I mean, the inserts are like 1 in 30 packs for some and 1 in 200 packs, I think, for others, if I understand correctly. And they try to get you to collect all the inserts, which means buying hundreds of packs, which you have to spend money on, or fleece somebody in a trade.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you get an award which gives you a tiny amount of coins, which does not even come close to the amount of coins you would have to spend on all these packs to get the inserts. Um, and then they had a like a fantasy game last year that seemed a little more intuitive than the one this year, from what I've been hearing. Now it's you have to join a contest, and then you have to build a deck of cards. Probably because someone in their app department learned that deck building apps were popular, so you had to build a deck
Let's
now.
do. Yeah, it's like let's do Hearthstone or Magic with
Yeah, it's like decks are
baseball
in.
cards.
Let's have a deck of cards, even though the deck doesn't do anything except screw up
Yeah.
your trades. You can't trade something in a deck, so if you put a card in a deck to play a contest, and somebody tries to trade you a card that you just put in your deck, the trade gets canceled. So you can either do the contest or trade cards. And honestly, it's more fun if you trade cards. Uh, Oh, also there is a rookie contest which costs no points, but in addition to buying all the packs, you have to buy into the contests.
Nice.
So, it's just
So, can
a,
you transfer coins to another person?
I don't think so.
And can
Uh,
can you just send cards? Do you have to trade something back?
yeah, from what I understand with the trading, you find another person who has a card you want, and then you offer them something.
Yeah.
And you can, if you know the person, like I got a half a dozen other people on Twitter that I'm
Yeah.
going back and forth with, and they're looking me up. It's like, okay, he needs these cards, and he's got these doubles, so I'm getting some trades,
Hmm.
cards that I need for doubles that I have, which helps us both because we're
Yeah.
both kind of treating it more like a collecting game instead of a competition fantasy game.
Hmm.
Um, but as far as the collecting part of it, it's fun. The cards are the base design for Tops, which all look very good. The photos are nice and crisp. Everything looks good. With the free coins you get every day, you can get 2 or 3 packs, which is about 15 cards. After you accumulate enough, you can start trading with people. And it's fun. I've wasted some time on it. Um, I'm not sure how fun it's going to remain. Especially once I actually collect all the base cards, which is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of the goal. Uh, you want to collect enough of the base cards, and then I guess try to pick up enough doubles of good players so you can go and win games in the contests. But there's just this air of just naked greed where everything that Top's Bunt team does is just designed to try to get you to buy more coins. Which seems like it's working very well in the Star Wars game, because I know a few people are playing the Star Wars game,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way they're not dumping a lot of money into that, because there's new cards popping up every day, and then you have to buy all these packs in order to pull the inserts, and then there's only they kind of dole out the inserts a couple at a time. Like I think the newest insert set is the first pitch ones from Tops, and they started out with a uh, couple of the cards, and then they're slowly, like every day, putting out two more. So you might pull Tom Morello uh, the first day, and then they release Lebowski on the second day, and now you got to buy more packs to try to pick up Lebowski. So it's fun. Um, they are good at least giving you freebies and coins. Like for one thing, when you first join, they give you some rookie packs, which are just packs of 3 cards, one of which is a special insert. And I think that's kind of to show you that's the little taste of
Yeah,
the
it's like
drug
here,
before.
here's your first hit of heroin. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
like
Because you can collect 4 insert cards of cool players like Mike Trout and Clayton Kershaw, Adam Eaton, somebody else, and once you complete that set, you get an award. So you go on your awards page and you get a shiny little icon, and you get 5,000 coins. You can buy another pack. So they're good about giving the freeloaders like me, enough coins to get started. But you can tell that everything they're doing is just to get you to dump a lot of money into coins, so you'll buy a bunch of packs to try to get the next big thing. Like one of the things they just started is they've got Gypsy Queen cards, because Gypsy Queen comes out in a couple of weeks, I think.
mm-hmm.
They've got a few of those as an insert set in a special kind of pack. And if you collect all the Gypsy Queen cards, you get the first Craig Kimbrell card in a Padres uniform. So,
Yeah.
and it's a big rat race, and it's all digital virtual cards that you will never touch. So, I can see why uh, it turns some people off, but if you go into it with zero expectations and just have extreme bloody mindedness that I'm not going to buy any coins, I'm just not, then you can get through it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a bad day and you can't get a pack or whatever, I'll email you a scan of a card if you'd like, and you can.
No, that's the thing. As long as you log in every day, you get
You get a pack.
you get a pack, at least a
God,
pack.
damn addicts.
So yeah. So, and if you log in every day, after a week, you get a bonus, so
Oh
you can
fuck.
buy more packs. So it's a
Jesus.
big rat race, but
Yeah. What?
it's
Yeah.
it's
One
not like
interesting thing, at least
actual
through the
cards aren't a big rat race. So
through Android, it tells you how many downloads that the app's had, and Top Bunt has about 50,000 downloads, which is interesting because it's sort of hard to find actual numbers for things sometimes in terms of like packs purchased or whatever. But
yeah,
50,000 doesn't seem like that many people. And so, you know, and if there are a lot of Daves out there just, getting their daily fix of a pack of, a scanned card. I just don't know. Like, it just is like, how long do they keep the Topps Bunt going? And then, like, do you download your card can you get your card off the mainframe? You know what I mean? Like, I buy digital comics. I realize, like, someday that might go away, and some comics I can't get a backup of, currently. And so It's just like, someday they're going to turn off the old servers for Topps Bunt, and all your money's gone, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a screenshot button on my tablet, so just keep pressing that.
Stay strong. Stay strong. Don't spend a dime, Dave. Do not spend
I don't have a dime to spend. So,
there you go.
That's not going to happen. So I'm going to see how long I can be a cheapskate freeloader. But
the thing about it is, like, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, I make fun of being a cheapskate freeloader. The other cheapskate freeloaders on Twitter make fun of themselves about being cheapskate freeloaders. And then the big fish out there who actually spend money, they mock us mercilessly. But the thing is, with a freemium app that's designed correctly, the cheapskate freeloaders make the money as well. And you can't tell me that they're not getting money for every one of those RPG ads that I've been watching.
Oh, sure.
And yeah, I've watched the same one like 8 times, but that's actually a marketing thing where a person has to watch a thing like 9 times or 13 times or some magic number before they start to want to buy the product. So me getting all these free coins to bump up to get one more pack for the day is actually playing right into the marketing fiends' plan. So even though I'm not going to spend a dime on this product, I bet you Topps is going to make a profit off of me. So if they're
they have other than the creation of the app, they literally have nothing invested. It's just the images of the cards they've already created. Yeah, it's exactly. Like I'm just going to log in every day and just hoard my coins and do screenshots of how many millions of coins I have.
Yeah, that's actually a legitimate strategy, because then one day when they do a sale, you can just take all those free coins and go batshit crazy and buy all the packs.
I'll sell my Topps Bunt card on eBay.
Yeah. I still don't know how that works.
That's insanity.
There's people that legit make money off of that, and I have no clue. But I don't know. When I get bored in a couple of months, then maybe I'll sign up for eBay again. I don't know.
So instead of buying fake cards from Topps, why don't we buy real cards from Panini, and aka Donruss, and we'll talk about their 2015 Donruss Baseball. I've been purchasing this just out of sheer sort of boredom, and that
boredom. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of like something different, Give me something.
Yep. Going into Walmart, they have nothing else that's interesting there, but they've got a couple of Donruss jumbo packs, and I'm here to buy bread and milk anyway. I'll sneak a Donruss pack into the cart.
It's a basic thing. I mean.
Yeah.
It's a basic part of life, right?
Exactly.
So when they released the design this year, I think it was sort of met with ho-hum, like, oh, this isn't... They really didn't... I don't know. They used their previous sets, sort of like a throwback to like a heritage design, in that it is like their 80... I think, was it 1981 design this year? Or 80? No.
Base
80.
cards are similar to last year.
Right.
Last year they had basically the 1987 Donruss design, just with a white border instead of a black border.
Mm-hmm.
This year, instead of using the 87 design on the horizontal, like they did last year, they took the 1985 design and kind of doubled it. because the 85 design, the top line is thick and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller on that little flare that they had. Well, this time they kind of flipped it and added it to the top, so it goes from thin to thick in the middle and then thin again. Put that in the middle, but they couldn't get rid of the 87 design, so instead of having that being horizontal, they had that vertical. So now they've got an 85 stripe horizontal, an 87 stripe vertical, and white borders again, because the 87 and the 85 sets were both black borders that looked really good, so let's make it white border and make it look really bad. And honestly, I think the fronts look hideous, but it does not compare with the back. Now, I have a little story. It's story time here at the Amazing Colossal Trading Card Preservation Society podcast.
Yes.
One of my favorite podcasts. A podcast that you should turn this podcast off and go search it and start listening to that one instead. It's called the Night Vale podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Night Vale. The basic story behind this podcast is, imagine an NPR style community radio show in a town that is basically the Twilight Zone and the X-Files and Lovecraftian horror all combined. It's a very funny show. It's kind of creepy at times. Very well written. And if you like paranormal weirdness combined with unrequited love between a radio announcer and a dashing scientist, I think actually it becomes requited later, but your basic horrible love story. It's an excellent show to watch or to listen to. One of the episodes is about the announcer is doing his thing, and a black portal opens, and the portal goes to a sister town, Desert Bluffs. Night Vale and Desert Bluffs are out there in the middle of, I don't know, New Mexico or Arizona or wherever the hell they are. They're like the high schools or rivals in sports and whatever. They've got another radio station over there. Your hero announcer goes through the portal over to the the Desert Bluffs radio station, and discovers, this is spoilers, that throughout the radio station there are human corpses, bloody entrails, blood, viscera, teeth, gore everywhere. Just the whole station is just covered in horrors that would make Ed Gein faint. The backs of the Donruss 2015 trading cards look exactly like the Desert Bluffs radio station. I do not know who designed that horrible thing, but they look like the traditional Donruss boring back. I think it even has the Donruss stripe. That if you look in a monster box of Donruss, you'll see that damn stripe. But the color is this sickly pinkish reddish mess, and it's blotchy. Why would you do that? It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen on a trading card, and I've seen a lot of ugly trading cards. It's just terrible, ugly, awful base set. And that's not even talking about the way the base set is set up with all the short prints. But I had to get that off my chest. This ugly, horrible.
I had no idea where
mess.
You were going with that, but you are completely right. It's like, it's like it's velvet.
Back.
It's supposed to be like velvet or something. I don't know. Like you could.
It looks like somebody ripped some poor guy's intestines out and spread them out. I mean, it's blotchy and it's kind of that sickly pinkish red. It's not
Yeah.
like movie blood red, gore red. It's like
No.
actual. You see somebody dead on the side of the road red.
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
Yeah,
It's
it's
an
like
awful
if
color.
you remember the opening of Dexter, like
Yeah,
the the spraying of the blood. Yeah.
it's just terrible. Ugh. Why? Why, Donruss? Why did you do that?
And for the text, it seems like it's, I don't know. Someone clicked the bold on the font, and
Yeah,
like so like the when the players' names, it's like it's too close together. I don't know.
it's just it's a nightmare. I don't even know. It's like they purposely made a set so horrible that nobody could ever complain about a top set ever again. I mean, it's just bad. It's ugly bad. All the base cards are garbage, which is sad because I mean the base run, the non short printed run, is small enough that there's a really huge amount of stars in there. I mean,
Yeah.
if you grab
150 cards. Yeah.
150 cards, you grab 10 random Donruss base cards, you're gonna have some superstars in there. You're gonna pull a Trout, you're gonna pull a Pujols, you're gonna get a Kershaw, but they're so god blessed ugly and horrible looking.
Yeah. So I mean, I imagine this whole variations thing where they have the photo of Mike Trout and it looks like he is batting left-handed
Yeah,
is not supported by Dave.
I don't care.
You don't care about that.
It's a short printed variation. I just ignore those now.
Have you seen the Bryce Harper Mohawk card?
Yes, I have, and he looks horrible, and I love it because
Yeah, I know.
I hate Bryce Harper, and as long as you can make him look as stupid as possible, I'm all for it.
That's a card I wouldn't mind owning someday, but
Yeah, and another
just for the
thing,
sure.
um, I was under the impression when I first saw the set. I mean, everyone knew one of the big things that they touted was the 1981 Donruss cards, where they were making certain cards in the 81 design. I originally thought they were parallels, or possibly even a separate insert set. They're part of the base set. So we've got another 45 short prints to go along with the 30 Diamond Kings and the, I can't remember, 25 rated rookies. I think it's about that. But
Sorry, I was searching to see if there was a Bryce Harper super short print that was even up, and I do not see one on eBay. I see the Heritage one, which equally has stupid hair, but
Bryce Harper is really
yeah.
good at stupid hair.
Yeah.
So, but
So you
yeah,
can-
I mean, so the one thing I kind of wanted to do is collect the parallel of the 81 Donruss, but they're just regular short print cards now.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? What's going on? Yeah.
I mean, I
the
like
whole
the-
set. It's a mess.
My personal favorite, I love the 1984 Donruss, so let me know when they
Yeah.
get around to stealing that design.
Exactly.
You can find hobby boxes of this for about $70 right now, and I think I'll probably just do some more, maybe dime boxes when it finally makes its way there. So are you recommending this product?
All right, so this is one of the worst base sets ever in the history of anything, with something I'm not sure, something like 100 short prints for a 250 card set. And the base cards are ugly. The short print cards look nice. You know, the Diamond Kings are okay. The rated rookies are cool. They got a logo on them. The 81 Donruss cards, there's that nostalgia value. But it's one of the worst base sets to collect ever in the history of anything. But picking up a $5 jumbo pack at Walmart and ripping it open and getting about 8 to 10 inserts is fun. I genuinely enjoyed opening that up, making fun of the bad base cards, and then looking at the cool inserts, because there's so many cool inserts in there. And you get so many of them in a jumbo pack. I got, I think, 10 in one and then 8 or 9 in the
Yeah.
other. And, I mean, some of them were short prints, like rated rookies and the 81s, but still, which one is it? The all-time Diamond King insert set. That is gold. It looks pretty good. The checklist is amazing. I think Mark McGwire might be the worst player in the set. Um, you know, there's a few throwback sets. There's a Donruss Preferred set that's in the design of, I think, 96 or 97 Donruss Preferred. The Elite cards are foil boardy and shiny. There's a rookies set that's interesting. There's a studio set which has some nice black and white photos in it. I mean, there's you can't go through the whole insert set and not find something you like. And it's just it's a for $5, it's a fun little thing to open. It's more fun than $5 worth of coins on Bunt.
So,
And
partial recommendation.
I would recommend it. I would not recommend it to set builders at all. Just stay away. But if you want to open up a fun pack for $5, yeah, you can do a hell of a lot worse than Donruss. And yeah, the dime boxers are going to be fun once they hit them.
Okay, on to pop culture and other assorted things. So, exciting news. How, in our last podcast, you talked about that you were watching X Files. Have you made progress
Yes.
on that series?
I've gotten through about two seasons.
Okay.
Like I said, I got distracted by the monster movies, but I'll get back to X Files soon enough.
I think we talked about that there were rumors of a new show, a new series coming. Well, it's officially been announced that we're going to get six episodes. I assume that means 6 hours roughly of X Files, and it'll be on Fox. We don't exactly know when. I assume maybe next summer, maybe next fall, since they're just announcing it now. And well, maybe Chris Carter has scripts, waiting to air. They don't go into details really about if it's going to be all conspiracy, all connected in one, big story, or if we're going to get Monster of the Week, which I would love to have if it's all, if it's all connected, or if it's all, individual episodes like how the series was, and,
Yeah.
with some stories connected, some independent. So, um, the cigarette smoking man is going to be back.
Nice.
I was I hadn't really thought about that particular actor in a while. I was happy to find he is still alive, because he plays such an unhealthy person that it's sort of like, I don't know. It was really good acting. You just sort of assume that's how that person really is. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, the guy's name is Cancer Man, but from what I understand, the dude runs marathons, so
yeah,
you know, good acting right there.
yeah. So I'm super excited about this. Although my expectations, I'm gonna go in just sort of appreciating every moment of this.
Yeah.
That
And if they do it right, you can conceivably have a monster of the week and a conspiracy thing going on at the same time.
yeah, yep,
And with a short run as it is, that'll give them more time to really focus on the 6 episodes that they have and put together a good story. A lot like normal BBC British
right.
seasons. I mean, they're usually 6, 8 episodes, and that gives them time to focus on the story at hand instead of cranking out a new monster every week.
So speaking of things that are sort of being resurrected, uh, if you've if you've had your TV on at all in the past few weeks, you've definitely seen trailers for the new Mad Max Fury Road movie that's coming out. I'm total, and as I see more and more of these trailers, I'm totally shocked that this looks amazing, to be honest with you. And at first, because if I remember right, this movie sort of was in like development hell for a while, and it always just seemed like who's really going to make a giant desert movie? It has to cost so much money to do this right. Um, but here we are. Are you a fan of Dune?
I've watched it. I've tried to read the books.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I was a fan. I'm familiar with it.
Well, there was this documentary on like the original artist. I think it was called Aronofsky's Dune, which is
Yeah.
a documentary that just I imagine you can get on Netflix. Um, which is sort of like the original before David Lynch took over and sort of took it into the ground. Uh, he had such crazy ideas for how to interpret the book into a film, and it just was like impossible to imagine in the mid 1970s of doing this movie. Well, it seems like they took like a lot of the ideas and incorporated into this Mad Max movie because it just looks weirder and weirder. Like all especially the seem to be like the main villains, and the cults that seem to be involved. I have sort of specifically not researched the plot of this at all. So I don't really understand what I'm seeing, but what I'm seeing looks amazing.
Yeah, I
Are
watched
you a fan of
the.
the original movies?
I mean, original was all right. I don't quite understand the concept of everyone is in a hellscape with no resources, and gasoline is the most precious thing on the planet, and so they all hop into cars and burn up a bunch of gasoline in order to get it.
Right.
So but it's not really something you should be thinking too hard about. You should just watch the cool cars running around with the weirdos, with the
Yes.
punk outfits, and watching the things go boom, and just have fun. Which, looking at the trailer, yeah, this is one where you want to check your brain at the door because you'll just get confused and just watch all the craziness happening.
Yes.
Like the bald weirdo screaming, "This is a great day to be alive," and then things explode everywhere. So
Yep. And people looking much too beautiful for a post-apocalyptic um,
yeah, lots of really white,
desert world.
pale, clear skin for a desert
Yes.
world with no water and sand blasting you everywhere. Maybe their faces are sandblasted. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, there's too many pretty people out in the hellscape desert.
And if you're on the fence of going to see this film, it was announced that the first trailer for Batman versus Superman is going to be shown before Mad Max. So
That
if you,
scares the crap out of me. That whole movie.
it's
I
going to be
just don't.
awesome.
I I don't know, man.
We'll see.
Ben Affleck is scaring me off, and I don't want to see Superman punching any buildings anymore. I'm kind of, I don't know. Don't screw it up, please, DC.
Maybe yeah. Why can't there be like the super dog and the super girl and like a
Yeah, Crypto,
yeah. There you go.
Crypto, and Supergirl, and Batbite. There we go. Let's have some fun characters. No more dark, twisted, evil comic book movies, DC. Let's have some
And
silliness.
you have some um, horsey updates.
Yes, it's finally here, and if you're listening to this podcast, you're gonna have to deal with it. I have to listen to wrestling stuff all the time, so it is time for Magical Princess Horse Anime. Camaraderie is Supernatural, Season 5. Had its debut last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
First episode in about a year, which was way too long of a hiatus because most of the fan base wandered off to Steven Universe or Gravity Falls or, in my case, Rick and Morty. But first episode delivered. Um, if you don't know anything about horses, basically Twilight Sparkle was a nerd horse, and she read books all day. And the beautiful princess horse told her to go outside and make some friends, and she did, but she didn't want to. But then a evil person stole the sun, and she had to go out with her friends and save the day. And they've gone from those humble beginnings to becoming a full-fledged princess, and I don't know, minor princesses, because all six of them are basically princesses at this point, even though one of them is the official princess. Uh, but this was the opening of the new season. Um, so now they have to basically set up the whole story arc for the season, which they did a good job. They transitioned nicely. The season finale last time was basically Satan Centaur came to Equestria, stole everybody's souls, and the good guys had to defeat him. And they did so using a gigantic Dragon Ball Z type ass kicking fight. So in the first episode of the new season, they had to follow that, the big gigantic action fight sequence. So they kind of flipped it up, and so instead of, you know, our heroes becoming superheroes, which they kind of did in season 4, but I digress. Instead of a big action-packed season premiere, they had more of a subtle, more Twilight Zone-y episode. Um, Basically, the princess has a castle, and when all the princesses sit in their throne, a map pops up, and the map tells them that there's trouble in this part of Equestria, and you have to go fix it. Kind of like how, you know, Doctor Who presses the button on the TARDIS, and the TARDIS takes him where he needs to go. So they go to this village, and there are a bunch of creepy Stepford wife ponies running around, and they all have creepy smiles, and they're all extremely friendly, and none of them have cutie marks. And they have to discover the reason why nobody has cutie marks and why everyone is acting bizarre. And it's essentially Harrison Bergeron with ponies. So if you've read that Vonnegut story, it's kind of the same thing. Everyone is equal, but that's not necessarily a good thing. So ponies have to save the day. There's a little bit of George Orwell thrown in just to make it extra super creepy. And was overall a very good episode. It was a little more exposition than I would have hoped. They're getting into trouble where they're trying to be epic in some of these stories, and they get away from just funny horses being silly and making jokes, and they try to get a story in there. And there was a lot of exposition in this show, but they did set up very nicely the whole story arc for the season. And there were some good gags in it. Pinkie Pie's every expression Pinkie Pie had was hilarious, basically. Uh, and they did a good job. They set up a villain for the season, and they set up a goal for the season, and you know now they can go off and do their slice of life and minor, non-epic episodes, and still, you know, have a goal to go towards at the end. And
For the uninitiated, where can you find this?
where can you find this? It used to be called the Hub. Now it's something like Discovery Family channel. They basically got rid of half of the cartoons and replaced it with garbage
Oh.
reality shows. But and you can also find it online on YouTube. The newer episodes you will find on YouTube if you search hard enough, or Daily Motion. The first four seasons, I think, are still on Netflix. I don't think they dropped off yet. But if they did, again, just poke around the internet a little bit, and you'll find it. Uh, but actually, the first episode has caused a little buzz in the interwebs. A right wing uh, right wing website called The Federalist was praising the new episode because of its denunciation of Marxism. So, because
Okay.
all the ponies are being equal by not being exceptional, and so they took it and ran with it, and all the normal troublemakers on Tumblr and 4chan and etc. are all taking the story and using it to their own ends, which basically means it's a well done story. It's got
Yeah, right.
some iconic themes in there, and it's an engaging story, and people are now abusing and misusing it. So gotta love that. But
Yes.
yep, now that we have the premiere out of the way, I believe the next episode is going to deal with Twilight Sparkle's post-traumatic stress disorder because her home was destroyed in the season finale last year, and now she's having to
Hmm.
deal with her new castle. So I think that's episode 3, and then next podcast we can talk about the rest, the episodes 3, 4, and maybe 5, depending on when we record. But that's not all. Is along with the Magical Princess Horse anime television show, Interplay has released Magical Princess Horse anime series 3 of My Little Pony cards, and I've gotten a blister pack, and it all looks pretty good. The new set is different from the first two sets. It's a different configuration. It's a little bigger set, and the pack is actually gone from 6 cards for $2 to 8 cards for $3. So a little more expensive, but you're getting more in there, and there's more bells and whistles. Basically, the setup of this set, the base set is actually kind of small. The base set is 27 cards, which features a lot of the characters that weren't in the first couple of sets. This is because the bulk of the set is from an episode, sort of, not sure if you'd call it an insert set or a subset or whatever. It's numbered differently. It's numbered E1 through 91. It's got 1 card for every episode that's aired. Um, and I think they made the base set small and that big so they can move on with season or series 4. Will probably have a big base set and a smaller episode subset for just the 26 episodes from season 5. Um, there's also a foil card in every pack, which seems odd that there's one base card in a pack and one foil card in a pack, but there's 45 foil cards instead of 27. So a little harder to find. Plus 9 exclusive foil cards in a binder, 9 promo cards that you'll be able to pick up either at conventions or in specially marked boxes. Uh, the gold cards from the first two sets have been replaced with lenticular cards that are kind of like the 3D cards from opening day.
Hmm.
I think they'll they'll move when you wiggle them. There are 8 of those, just like there were 8 gold cards previously. Um, and I think 3 of those are, I'm sorry, 4 of those are box loaders. So 4 you can find in packs, 4 you can find in hobby boxes. They still got standees and stickers, except there's twice as many. And 12 tattoos, like in the first 2 series. One of the really interesting things about this set is everything is in multiple of 9. So if you want to put this set together and put it in a binder, each one of these subsets is going to fit in evenly in pages.
How
The only
wonderful.
thing, yep, the only thing that isn't a subset of 9 is the episodes, because there's actually 91 episodes. But you can stick the 8 lenticular cards on that page and make it work out. Which actually, and one of the things, if you're a set builder, this is one of the few sets out there that you can reasonably put together a master set. They've got a checklist card of pretty much everything that's in the set, and with the exception of the autograph cards, which are going to have some really tough ones like Weird Al Yankovic and John Delancey, everything else in this set you can probably, with a little elbow grease, pick it up. So
Interesting.
if you're one of those people who wants to collect everything out of a set, this is one that you can do it.
Okay, so we're on to a new segment, which is cards to sort music. Oops, hold on. I don't know. You can't hear that. Just a second here. I clicked on ESPN and the video just started in my ears.
Nice.
Um, so music to sort cards by. A new feature we're gonna have probably every episode where we talk about new music to keep us occupied while we're sifting through the 3,000 count boxes. And so, what have you been listening to?
Okay, this is an album that I have been looking forward to ever since I heard about it a few months ago. I think it was in January it was announced. New album from The Prodigy, The Day Is My Enemy. That just came out, I believe, on the 30th, and I have been listening to it on repeat uh, almost since then. Um, this is a classic Prodigy album. There's no other way to describe it. It's just, if you remember the Prodigy from the 90s with Firestarter and Breathe and even Voodoo
Yeah.
People, Out of Space. This is a classic, just like The Fat of the Land. It's one of those big beat, loud, noisy, angry guitars, angry drums, banging everywhere, with a lot of electronic rave and uh, drum and bass, techno aspects to it. It's um, back in 1997, I believe, when that album first came out. It was one of those albums that brought all the rock dudes and turned them on to electronic music. And this is really more of the same. They have a sound, and they've perfected it. And their last 2 albums weren't received very well, but this one, it looks like Liam, Maxim, and Keith have all kind of accepted that they're a band, and they're working together, and it's a very cohesive album. You can see a lot of thought was put in uh, on perfecting that sound, and even though they haven't had an album here very successful in a while, they've been touring like mad, and they've got a pretty good live show. and this is going to add to that live experience. Got a few, I think, probably single worthy hits on here. Nasty is the first one that they put out, and that's a classic. I mean, it's got all the classic Prodigy uh, stuff to it. It's got Keith uh, doing some crazy lyrics. Nasty, nasty. Which first time I heard it was, it reminded me of the young ones with their video nasty.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a video, nasty, nasty. And it's got that grinding guitar and those kick-ass drums, and they throw in a sample from an old reggae guy in the middle, and it's got this hook that just kind of grabs onto you, and you're hearing it in your sleep, especially when you've played it on repeat for a few hours. It's that's I'm not sure if it's going to be big over here because there's like two radio stations nowadays, and they have a pretty set lineup. But it's the album hit number one in England, so it's doing well over there. There's a few other songs. Wild Frontier, which has an amazing video. It's kind of a stop animation thing with it's very creepy as hell. With a couple of hunters, which seems to be a theme with their videos, are out in the woods, and some sort of animal starts tracking them, and very creepy things happen. I would recommend going to watch that because you
Yeah.
can't explain it, but it's very disturbing and it's very fun. And it's a pretty good song. It's kind of poppy almost. I mean, there's a little lick at the beginning that, if you're not paying attention, you'd think it was Deadmau5 for a moment, but they quickly twist that to their own ends. That's a good song. Wall of Death is another kind of poppy, even though it's very hard, loud, grindy poppy. And the title track, "The Day Is My Enemy," is actually based on an Ella Fitzgerald song, "All Through the Night." It doesn't sound like an Ella Fitzgerald song. It's basically took one of the lyrics and kind of warped it to a Prodigy song, but very good. I'm loving it. There's another song on there called Ibiza, which features the vocalist from the Slayford Mods, which is a very unique style of rap. Uh, and that's kind of a piss take on all the laptop DJs that go play trance down in for the rich
Yeah.
clubs in Ibiza. So and while they're staying true to their sound, they are trying to get with the 21st century. There's even a little bit of dubstep on there. They did a track with Flux Pavilion, who is known for really, really hard dubstep. One of the tracks I remember for them is Bass Cannon. So they did a hard track with him, and but it still has the rave and the techno and the drum and bass from their earlier work. So it's a good mix of their sound with old and new.
And you've got a podcast that you like too?
Oh
Or
yeah.
no?
Meant to mention this earlier, but one of the things I got turned on to on Twitter is somebody's friend has a podcast called "Our Podcast Could Be Your Life," which look for that on blogspot.com. It's basically a music podcast of a couple of music nerds just talking about some really cool bands. I think their uh, first podcast is the Butthole Surfers, but then they've got the Melvins, which I had to listen. You know, they're talking about the Melvins. The Pixies, Dead Kennedys, just all kinds of really cool old bands from the 80s and 90s. And that's one that once I catch up on my Gilberts, I'm gonna start listening to that just for. I listened to the first one, and they basically go over each of the albums from the Butthole Surfers and talk about their influences and the albums themselves. And very interesting if you love music. So go check out our podcast. Could be your life.
For my album, it is a band called Mourn, and they released their debut album, which is also called Mourn. They really, went on a limb on that one, and it came out in February. Now, this is the work of two Spanish girls. They're the main leaders of the band. One is named Jazz. Another one, first name is Jazz. Another one is Carla. Now, if I was, with that description, I don't know what you think the music would be like exactly, but this is, it's not exactly punk. I would say it's sort of hard rock, but it is fast. It's their album is 10 songs, and it clocks in at 21 minutes, and it is, you would have basically you would not know that they weren't English or American by how they sing, and you really, their lyrics and their singing style, you really have no idea what the hell they're singing about exactly, but the music is amazing. If you're gonna investigate something, check out the song Otitis, which is Otitis. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's one of the longer songs at 2 minutes and 29 seconds. And it's just really good melodic sort of hard rock music. And so what better way to sort through put some penny sleeves on than some Spanish hard rock. On to Quick Hits, which is our recurring segment in which we talk briefly about a few things in the news or with us personally. First, I start off with I ordered Topps watches. If you remember back from the first episode, I was making fun of them mercilessly, just sort of like I'm making fun of Topps Bunt this time. Last time it was about these watches that Topps was selling in their apparel sections for $59, I believe, at the time. They blew them out a few weeks ago for $5.99 each. So I bought two of them. I bought the Mike Schmidt and a Johnny Bench. Or no, I'm sorry. I did this before too. A Nolan Ryan and a Mike Schmidt. And what I didn't notice at the time until getting these watches in person was that you can actually pop out the watch face and sort of switch. You could switch basically the watch bands amongst them. So it's sort of a neat little thing. It doesn't really sell a watch completely on that one little fact, but I think for $5.99 these are excellent watches. $59.99, no way in hell, but I think that's pretty much what the world decided as well. I don't foresee it coming back again around, so they're sort of a neat little oddity to own. They seem to be good quality, I'll give them that much, but I don't know. In some ways, I can't believe I actually own these, but I don't have anything really bad to say, seeing that I got them at such a good price.
How does something where there's only 99 existing in the world end up on clearance because they don't sell?
Well, exactly. That's the shocking thing about it, is like there weren't 99 people to buy a watch, like 99 Mike Schmidt fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'll keep them in pristine condition and
There you go.
make some money. Yeah.
And then 60 years from now, somebody can be talking about, oh yeah, back in 2015, they had watches, and they're super rare, and you can
Yeah,
never
they're
find
super
them.
rare. Yeah, I know. Buy a house with it.
Exactly. Your watches are the 1955 dog food cards.
So another topic we've talked about before that we went on and on about how we were so excited about it was the revival of Twin Peaks, and it was revealed that David Lynch is out in this reboot, or season 3, I guess you would say. He could not come to an agreement to direct it, so he is not on the project. Showtime, I guess, still has the rights to it, so they can still go forward with it if they want.
Yeah.
It sounds like the cast is sort of like, not. I don't know if it's official that they're sort of boycotting it, or they want David Lynch, of course, involved, but it's been interesting to see if they actually, I don't know, move forward without him, which seems sort of ridiculous, but
Yeah,
I don't
they'll
know.
they'll probably move forward because Showtime owns it. People want to see it. And I mean, there are a hell of a lot of other worse products that are going to be thrown out this year in rebooted properties. So it'll get made. It may or may not be done with David Lynch. I mean, this still could be just a negotiating tool to get a
Yeah,
little more money out of Showtime. But honestly, if the new Twin Peaks doesn't have David Lynch, I mean, as long as whoever does get their hands on it knows and respects the show, I don't see that it would be too bad. I mean, it's kind of a situation like old Ren and Stimpy. Once they booted Chris Falusi off the show, you still had Bob Camp there who worked on the show and loved the show and did a decent job with the later episodes until until he left and it went completely off the rails. So it'll be interesting to see anyway. Even if it's a train wreck, it's Twin Peaks. It'll still be a delicious train wreck.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Twin Peaks has already been a train wreck, so
Yeah,
um,
Twin Peaks
yeah,
was a train wreck when it was out
with David
originally.
Lynch, right?
Yeah, so you know,
So, right. What if
uh,
it's better? I mean, what if it's an amazing thing now? I don't
yeah,
know.
that's the real thing. If David Lynch, rage quits because he didn't get the money, and then it's awesome.
Yeah,
that's that's gonna suck for David Lynch, which
yeah.
is a real possibility. I mean, I
Who
love David
knows?
Lynch, but he has a track record.
Yes. If you've been following movie news on Twitter or Facebook or what have you, then you've definitely seen photos that are leaking from Vancouver about the filming of the Deadpool movie with Ryan Reynolds and and the chick who was in Firefly. I forget her name. Um, um, it looks. I mean, if a movie can be if a movie can be a determination made on the fact that the outfit looks accurate. I mean, it looks pretty good. Um, are you a Deadpool fan? Is this something that you're excited about?
I'm not like a super huge Deadpool fan, but I've read some of the stories and I like the character and I think he's fun. And if they can do it right, and if they can do it R-rated, and get all that goofy, violent, silly comedy in there, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that based on the footage that leaked, earlier this year, which basically, pushed this movie forward to get funded
Yeah,
and made, if they keep it like that and and don't even acknowledge that Deadpool was a part of the Wolverine movie, and that whole
yeah,
horrible thing. I think it'll. I think it looks. I mean, like I said, if you can judge on a costume, it looks pretty good.
yeah. It's funny how the internet is pushing all these remakes and projects because this is basically made because the Ryan, what is it, Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
demo for
Yeah.
Deadpool leaked,
Yep.
and X-Files is basically being made because Gillian Anderson went on the WTF podcast with Mark Maron and was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do a new X-Files series." If you're
Yeah.
an X-Files fan, definitely go out and find that podcast, WTF with Mark Maron. Look for the Gillian Anderson one and listen to it because that is hilarious.
Yeah. She was
She's
also on Nerdist too. She did a Nerdist one
Oh, she did a
for
Nerdist
the.
one too. Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, do you watch The Fall? Have you watched The Fall?
I haven't watched The
That
Fall
series.
yet, but
I watched series one, and it's
actually,
really
do
really
I?
good. Um, Gillian Anderson is sort of. It's not to say that she's like the weakest part of it, but it's sort of like her character is very unlikable. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
you sort
okay.
of it's so unlikable that it's like overwhelming sometimes. But anyhow,
Nice.
and speaking
Actually,
of
it
unnecessary, go ahead.
might have been the I don't. I've either got the okay corrections for next time. It's either WTF with Mark Maron or the Nerdist podcast with Gillian Anderson. I don't remember which because I've been listening to both of them lately, and I think I've got them confused now. So you
Okay,
might be right.
she definitely was on Nerdist. I don't know if she did. She might have done WTF too. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
She's also on.
Um,
Oh God, what's his name? The really gay uh, British talk show dude that had a Comedy Central show.
Norton something.
Yeah, Graham Norton. She was on Graham
Graham Norton.
Norton,
Yeah.
and that was hilarious. She's got a story about Comic Con, which is brilliant. So watch or listen to all three,
Wait,
even
are
if
you
she.
saying Graham Norton's gay? Sorry.
He's
Liberace's gay?
fabulous. He
I
is
just watched
fabulous.
I just watched WrestleMania and
He's
the
beyond
first
gay. He's
the first
decay.
WrestleMania, and it's like what would be the equivalent of like the modern day WrestleMania where they brought out Liberace like
Wow.
on the first one. It's like I can't even fathom what the guest would be like. Anyway, speaking of unnecessary remakes, Netflix is on the verge of doing a Full House reunion series. And I'd like to know who on the internet asked for this to track them down. Um, I do not think Mary Kate and Ashley are going to be on this. Um, and secondarily, the question is Netflix using its power for good or evil? Um, I half jokingly say that because at the end of this podcast, it's almost, well, we're past 2 a.m. So uh, the Daredevil series is now available to binge watch. So um, it went live at midnight Pacific time. So um, I don't know. Do you care about Full House reunions? Did you watch Full House the first time around?
You know what? If they're gonna do this, I hope they do it straight for like 3 or 4 episodes, and then let Bob Saget work Blue.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden he just turns into Bob Saget, and you know, while unsuspecting binge watching families look on in horror and just watch Saget go nuts. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean he in the series he was like a TV person. So I mean we could have the first part where he like loses his mind on the air. Um,
Just let him. Just after episode 3 or 4, just no scripts at all. Just
yeah.
Saget rolls,
Yeah.
and that could be the best thing that ever hit Netflix ever.
And Candace Cameron can be like the fundamentalist Christian who she is now. So that'll be
Nice.
a nice odd couple there.
Yeah. Dave Coulier shows up with a friend that he met at the theater.
Oh God. Okay. On that note, we'll move on to the upcoming new release calendar. Uh, so April, we got a big month for baseball. Um, I I believe 2015 Topps Museum comes out today, or it's today now, April 10th. Uh,
Okay.
and next, a product neither of us will ever open. On next
Yeah,
week,
Tops has been hitting that pretty hard on the Twitter, so it should be tomorrow,
Yeah.
if not
Yep.
already.
And next week is April 15th is 2015 Topps Gypsy Queen, a product we both probably will open.
Nope.
You're not?
No, I hate Gypsy Queen.
What? I thought you liked Gypsy Queen.
I liked 2011 Gypsy Queen when it looked like
excuse me. Sorry.
an original.
Okay.
When it looks like the original Gypsy Queen, but once they got all weird with it, I kind of gave up.
Okay, fair enough. April 29th will give us 2015 Bowman Baseball. Sometime in April, I don't think we've got a date yet. We talked about it last time. 2015 Panini Diamond Kings Baseball is coming our way. And the next set beyond that, though, is not till May. So that's May 20th, 2015 Topps Tier 1, which is, ultra high-end. Basketball, only one immediate release here. This was April 15th, 2014-2015 Panini Immaculate Collection Basketball. Football, we've got April 8th, so these are recent releases. 2014 Topps 5-Star Football. And April 8th, 2014 Upper Deck Exquisite Football. I've been seeing some. It may make a news item next week. I've been hearing some rumblings about, the inclusion of autographs in some of the Panini products for football. So maybe we'll talk about that maybe in the future. For hockey,
yeah, once that shakes out. Yeah, once that all shakes out, because I've heard the same rumblings from
so
committed rumbler.
yes. In hockey, 2 releases in April sometime. We've got 2014-2015 Upper Deck Ice Hockey and 2014-2015 Upper Deck Masterpieces Hockey, which, if it's like the other Masterpieces set, I'm a fan, I guess.
I'd like to see that one.
Non-sports, we've got 2015 Rittenhouse Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1. April 29th, Rittenhouse, the next Game of Thrones set, which was for Season 4, is coming out. Sometime in April, we've got a set, 2015 Pastime Presidential Portraits. I was totally going to talk about this more. I'll probably talk about it on next episode as we get sort of, if it's actually released sometime in April. This is like basically base cards talking about dealing with the presidents, which I'm a big political card collector, so maybe I'll do something more in-depth next time about that set. And then in May, we've got May 13th, Panini Americana, and May 13th, also, we've got Topps Chrome WWE coming out.
All
so, yeah. Just a couple questions on Q&A this time around. First one is from Uncle Doc's Cards. In your opinion, where is the cutoff point between collating a set and buying a complete set?
All right, I think the question he's asking is when do you give up on trying to build a set and just buy the set outright? And I think there's actually 2 answers to this. One is number of cards that you have, and the other is probably a dollar amount. And I'm dealing with this right now because for some reason I know I had most of the 1995 Topps base set back in college, but I guess a box dropped out of the back of my truck or whatever. But I have not seen that 1995 set really since college. I think it is gone forever, so I've been slowly trying to build up that set again. And I'm having that conflict now because on Craigslist there's some dude down in Smyrna who is selling complete sets, and that's one of them. Um, but I think I've got about 2/3 of that set, which is close enough to try to finish it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a pain. And do I really want to do all that? Uh, but the other side of that equation is how much is a base set gonna cost you to just buy it outright? Um, and I guess there's like a sliding scale. If you're really close to a base set, that number is probably going to be really low. For example, 1990 score. I bought tons of those packs chasing for a Frank Thomas card that I never ever pulled, and I found a complete base set in a binder with pages for $5. So I gave up on collating that set and I bought the set. So I think, but there's other sets like Heritage, which I kind of want the set, but I've got most of the set, but the cards that I don't have are really pains in the ass to find. But a base set is really expensive, so I'll keep collating the set. Uh, But if you want hard and fast numbers, I say if you have less than 50% and especially less than 25% of the set, especially if it's one where boxes are not easy to find and commons are not easy to find, just go buy the set. Alternately, if you're able to find a complete set dirt cheap, just buy the set. So like that's I've said this before. My goal for top sets is if I can find a factory set for under $20, buy it and be done with it. Which I recently did that. I did that last Christmas with the 2012, and if I can pull it off with 2010 through 20, well heck even 2015, if I find a base factory set for
Mm-hmm.
2015 for under $20, I'm gonna buy that too, just because it looks so good.
Yeah, I did the same. I sort of screwed myself in trying to build a set by hand when I probably should have just done the factory set because I was working on 1991 Pro Set Desert Storm,
Uh,
and I think I sent you a couple cards you needed for that too. And
yes.
I've got everything, but there are actually three cards that were just put into the factory sets, which I didn't really realize until after, just sort of double checking the checklist and everything. And sure enough, there are three bonus cards that are um, only in the factory set. So
Nice.
if I just researched a little more, I could have
Just
just
research.
bought an
Of
eight
course,
dollar
then
set, and
then I wouldn't have been able to ditch all my doubles on you then.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So
So
worked out for everybody except you.
next up, we've got a question from Thorzul, frequent listener, frequent question asker. On the last podcast, Dave used the term uglifying. Please redefine this word in terms of Dan Ugla.
Yeah, starting second baseman for the Nationals, Dan
Yes, right.
Uggla.
I mean, that's sort of the funny thing about this is like you thought he was out of the league. No, he's starting for the Nationals.
He's starting for the World Series favorite,
yes.
and is there's a theory that he is actually a Braves double agent.
oh, really?
He's had at least one or two errors so far for the Nationals.
Well, there's that
But
that GIF where he's like falling on the ground from a swing.
yeah, but okay. So how do you redefine a word in terms of Dan Ugla? Oh my God. Uh, all right. Well, if I was gonna uglify a set, which I think that's how I used that term last time,
yes.
that a set was being uglified. If I was gonna uglify, say, the Topps 2015 base set, I guess the first thing I would have to do is trade someone uh, something really good for that set. Then, once I had the set, uh, buy a case of that set. Just because, well, I mean, I have it, so I should probably extend it a little more. Throw some more money at it. And then when I put the set into pages and the set actually crumbles into dust, like in a Indiana Jones movie when for example, if the set looked directly into the Ark of the Covenant while drinking from the wrong chalice uh, from the Holy Grail, and just kind of melts and crumbles at the same time, uh, then I would probably pay someone to take the set off of my hands, who would immediately put it up on eBay and sell it for a cool $89,999.
Somehow, as you were talking, I was trying to look up. Somehow you've got to work in like a 33 game hitting streak that is only able to like raise your batting average like 0.2%.
Yeah.
Because it's so low.
That's the weird thing with Ugla. I mean, all the nonsense that happened with Melvin Upton, and he's still not the worst contract we've had in the past few years.
Yeah.
It's how? And we cut him, and he goes to the freaking evil, even year cursed Giants, and wins a damn ring. How do you get cut for being so bad that
it all worked out?
And now he's starting for the freaking Nationals. Oh my God! But
I want a Dan Ugla Mohawk card.
Oh man.
And Thorzul, thanks for asking the question. But what do I have to do to get a follow on Twitter? I know you only follow like 10 people, but throw a bro a follow over here. So that was a short Q&A section for today, and that's gonna wrap up our episode 7.
Thought it was a long podcast, though.
Yes. So as always, you can find our podcast on iTunes and Stitcher, and Libsyn. Just search Trading Card Preservation Society. We've got a Facebook page where you can get updates when we have new episodes, and periodically we have YouTube. I think almost all. Well, I don't know if I've done it for the last one yet. You can listen to the episodes on YouTube if you find that as an easier way to do it. Anything else to add before we sign off, Dave?
I think that WTF.
Are you sorting cards in the background?
Yes, I am.
I
think that WTF podcast was Ali Brosh, who wrote the book Hyperbole. Oh God, I forgot the name of the book. Oh well, that's another thing for the corrections next week. But I think I got Gillian Anderson confused with Ali Brosh, and that's you know what? Listen to all the podcasts.
Yes, we'll do a correction on the correction next time.
Yeah, listen to Ali Brosh on WTF with Mark Maron. Listen to Gillian Anderson on The Nerdist. Listen to Gilbert Gottfried with Drew Friedman, and listen to, what the hell was that long ass name? Our podcast Could Be Your Life.
Yes.
Because those are all much better podcasts than this podcast. So go listen to something good for once.
Okay, there we are. There you go. Until next time.
Until next time.
Good night.
Bye.